We also have Punit, the comedian, on the phone line with us. Punit, very sad news coming in this morning of Raju Srivastava's death, of Raju Srivastava's passing away after battling for life for over 40 days. Take us through the memories that you shared with him and, of course, the body of work that he has represented over the last several years.
I just learned of the news and it is very sad indeed. We've seen it coming for a while, and I've seen so many other artists in mourning because he meant so many things to so many of us. He put comedy on the map for a new generation. A lot of people started because of him. And what we call stand-up now in the cities, essentially Raju Srivastava did it like about 20, 25 years back. So some of the sets that he performed are legendary. Like you still remember his characters like Gajodhar. He had an entire set on what a handle in a local train feels like. And that sort of nuanced act for a broad audience in this country is unprecedented. It's also a reminder that life can be cruelly short and you should get on with work. I'm leaving for my shows right now, and it's sad, but it's also more inspiring that you leave a body of work behind and it inspires artists for years to come. There is no way to quantify, but if there was, you would see a deep impact of any great artist who's been at the top level. It gives so many people hope. Not only artists, I think even common people, they see the beauty in life and they see a different perspective of looking at things. And it can take a break, even though a short one from their humdrum lives. And that's what art is all about at the end. My condolences to his fans, his family, and we hope to see great work being done in comedy in this country because we need to laugh at ourselves at least.
Absolutely. Mr. Punit, you were, talking about his body of work. Can you elaborate about his body of work? Because he had a unique take on his life through his comedy and, very open political views as well. So could you tell us about, his body of work, how he expressed his views to the public through comedy?
So when he started, at that time, comedy used to be more physical, more more about impersonating other people's voices, etc. But he brought in, I would say, in hindsight, a very modern approach to stand-up. He would do a character, but a character which is not known. He wouldn't do a film star or a politician. He would do the common man. And yet you would immediately know who he's talking about. That was the art of it. Just with a couple of expressions, he would just transform himself into somebody else. And that is the beauty of stand-up, that without props, without the stage, without all those things, you can still convey a different world to somebody. And that opened up new possibilities for people. Otherwise, people would think that comedy has to be loud and it has to be profane and it has to have voices and mimicries, etc. That, and also he went into places that nobody had gone before. Like I said, he would do inanimate objects. He would do the very, very small modalities of life that you would have completely overlooked. And then to communicate that on the big screen to people across the country is very difficult, because what we do in stand-up of today is still niche. It caters to a particular segment in the audience. This man went wide. Of course, politically he differed from a lot of us. But then that is what being mature is about, that you can still appreciate somebody despite not agreeing with them on all the points.
Also, Mr. Punit, when we speak about Raju Srivastava, it is Gajodhar Bhaiya that comes to our minds. The Gajodhar Bhaiya we all knew. It is something that represents the common man. Could you take us through this character? He will be remembered as this, and for his brilliant mimicry, of course.
The common man is talked about a lot in this country, but often by people who are not very common themselves. And that is isn't that the whole conundrum, that people who are actually suffering don't have a voice? It is us in the cities who are privileged enough to talk on their behalf, and we don't always know what they actually go through. Right. But here was a man who was maybe in many ways common himself, and yet he could do it at the very biggest level. And you would often see even shortcomings in Gajodhar's worldview, or he wouldn't always be right, yet you always empathize with him. And that is the nuance that you have to bring into art of all sides, all types, because in the end, everybody is a victim of society at some level. And traditionally, we had heroes and villains, which are extremely polar. But if you have a character that despite his flaws, you still can see where the flaws come from. That was the beauty of Gajodhar.
Right.
That the depths that he could bring in a very short span, because the acts you would see typically on the screen, that's what you remember him most for, is his appearances on television, in Laughter Challenge and other shows. Very short few-minute acts, and in that he could transform and take you to that world and completely understand who you are talking to. That was what was amazing, and that is what a lot of us also do now in our own small way in the art that we practice. So a lot of comics I know who are big names in the country right now, they owe it to him because they started by watching his videos or listening to him when they were in college. So it's about setting a good example in any field, I think, especially in art.
Certainly, he was the voice of the common man. Thank you, Punit, for sharing all the memories and the body of work that Raju Srivastava, the comedian, represented. Thank you for joining us. Raju Srivastava was in the entertainment industry since the 1980s and shot to fame after participating in the first season of the reality stand-up comedy show, The Great Indian Laughter Challenge in 2015. So sad news of Raju Srivastava's passing away coming in this morning.